Let's see, Heido had to butt in. If I may, if what you say is correct, Red Sky, missing punctuation and capitalization, the farmers you have are not working as hard as they could. Oh, yeah, I could maybe say that. No Crow glares at Heido. He had just had to butt in. Let's see. We are in need of the wheat. Heido's over there. You should probably be quiet now, Heido. You're, yeah, not your turn to speak right now. Back to Ned. Oh, nope. Now Wesley's decided he has to speak up. You know, he could just... a man has said what he needed to say, another may have the floor. So, Ned's giving up the floor, and Wesley is asking for it. Yeah, you know, Wesley... Yeah. I mean, I don't really want to criticize you or anything. This is not. This is really just a comment. But you could have just emoted like raising your hand first, and looking over at the Supreme Keeper rather than just shouting out what you wanted to say. I don't know. I think that might have improved the RP a little bit. It's always good when you can get emotes. Gestures Wes forward. Peace be to you, No Crow. Thank you. Oops. There we go. I like him. I nod at him. Okay. Now we're waiting for Wes to speak. Yeah. I was just about to say, like, looking to, or looks to the Oakborn on the platform. But he's already started. Okay. Wes has a proposition for the Zali, specifically the Katoma tribe of the Zali. Of course, the only tribe we have right now, but it's always a matter of scale. There are always more people in the world than you will ever actually see or meet. All you can do is acknowledge their existence. Take real life, for example. There are more than 6 billion people in the world. You'll be lucky to meet 1 million in your lifetime. Okay, back to Wes. Zali will hear it, says No Crow. Supreme Keeper says continue. And Wes says, you need wheat. We have the farms but lack the farmers. The Katoma have farmers. Yeah, but they're livestock farmers. They don't know anything about wheat, about agriculture. Well, some of them might. No Crow nods in contemplation. Basically, what Wesley is trying to do is he's asking the Katoma if they won't come and work the farms in Tarangale for the people of Lyradel. Yep. Lyradel will, of course, keep some of the wheat, but the pay that the Katoma farmers get is wheat of their own to take home to their families in Trivios. Well, outside of Trivios. Yes, only until we can get a steady workforce at the Lyradel farms. Only temporary? Yeah. No, I think it's a splendid idea. know this is a great sacrifice for the Katoma, but you must understand. There we go. Come on. What more do you have to say? Must understand it. I feel like he's not done yet. There we go. These times are desperate, and we must take desperate measures. Yeah, I guess times are desperate when you can't get enough wheat out of your plentiful wheat farms to feed your people because you don't have anybody to work those fields. What do you say, No Crow? Well, what do you say, No Crow? Do you agree to Wezzy's terms? Well, actually, do you agree to his proposition? Terms haven't actually been set yet. Terms would be how many farmers go and how much wheat they're allowed to bring back and stuff like that. We can provide housing. Wezzy's waiting for a response, so I think he's just trying to entice them further. Zali don't need housing. They carry their tents on their backs. There we go. Brother Hollow and myself can work a field and are no stranger to the ways of wheat. The Zali themselves, even though they don't keep large sustained farms like the Oakborn do, they do practice a specialized form of agriculture where they set up farms and grow their wheat very quickly, and then they leave that area alone for like a few years or something like that. Mayhap we could use the travel. We grow restless at camp these days. Okay. By the way, where it says Grand Keeper Mayavar is now AFK, she's not actually AFK. She's in here listening, watching everything, just like I am. And a lot of, well, even though it never shows when regular players go AFK, it always shows when the admins do. Even if they aren't technically AFK, they just haven't moved or said anything in a while. Anyways, it would not be out of desperation, but rather to secure wheat for our livestock. Supreme Keeper Sailor says, I would say an even split of the wheat should be sufficient. No? Red Sky nods in agreement. So does Haito. Wes Haffrey says, I had something else in mind, Supreme Keeper. The lands of Azrael are harsh, and our own methods provide very little. Yeah, especially not in the desert. We can trade you lumber for your services. They need the wheat, though, too. Yeah. I know, I There we go. Typical Oakborn. There we go. Typical Oakborn. Always thinking that trees are more important. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah. No Crow says that previous agreement leans far in their favor, though. In other words, that agreement needs to be renegotiated if they're to agree to this new one, to this new deal. Prover vire. There we go. Supreme Keepers, yeah. No Crow says, I'm not a man of numbers myself, so it draws some concern. Then we may fix that trade. Let's analyze. Let's see, Mr. No Crow, how much good meat does a cow produce on average? I think it's 1 or 2 steaks. Yeah, I agree. You desperately what they have. There we go. Let's see. The Oath Keepers seem to be holding their own private conference here. You know, Wes is waiting for No Crow's response. A man might say each cow for slaughter may bless us with a large slab once prepared. A man might say each cow for slaughter may bless us with a large slab once prepared. I was reading that wrongly. Heido frowned slightly, wondering why all of these questions are only being directed toward Crow. Well, it's because you're basically a junior member. I mean, how much sway do you have in your own tribe, let alone in the Senate, in the Federation? I believe it takes 2 lumps of what to produce 1 cow. Is that correct? 2 lumps of what? Wheat, maybe? I don't know. I think that was supposed to be wheat instead of what. Wait a second, maybe Heido is in command. I'm seeing stuff in Skype that's calling him a warlord. On a good day, if Yamas is smiling, that is correct. The one on the floor right now was at Wintermist recently striking up deals. To make sure the trade is fair. I heard tell me free bank. This is the same man. Nah, there's no need to talk about that. Let's see. It appears I was wrong about Heido being a proper warlord. He still hasn't been initiated yet into his tribe. Let's see. Wes Haffrey. That would mean for every 1 meat you provide, 2 lumps of wheat will be provided. Is that fair? Do we agree on that? However, no, Bastion does not, from Saildor. In other words, the Oathkeepers still believe that that trade would favor Lyradel too much. Let's see. Cows also produce leather.